What's going on, everyone? Today what we're going to talk about is whether or not you should do an upper lower or a push-pull legs, and we're going to compare and contrast the similarities and differences between both programs, and then you can come to a pragmatic conclusion on which one you would prefer to do depending on your goals and your phase of training. Okay, so upper lowers generally allow for more frequency to be completed within the session, but you probably won't get as much volume within that session per muscle group unless you want to spend a very long time in the gym. In contrast, however, the push-pull legs is going to allow for a lot more volume to the target muscle, but generally sacrifices frequency. But with that sacrifice in frequency, you can obviously complete more volume per muscle group in less time. I'm just using time as an example here to compare these two factors, because when you look at health science research, time is actually a confounding factor for exercise. So people who don't have much time during the day don't exercise as much. I'm not talking about how, like if you spend too long in the gym, cortisol will come along and like rip you off your gains. Cortisol is a normal component of exercise and you need to produce cortisol. There is significant research showing that that's fine. It's more like when you're totally stressed 24/7, 365, that chronic increases in cortisol obviously lead to poor health outcomes. Okay, so I'm of the contention that if you want to have an efficient program for muscle growth and strength, then you need to hit muscles at least 2 times a week. So in saying that, maybe an upper lower is better if you want more high frequency training, because you could easily program a 4-day microcycle and hit everything twice a week. Another really good thing about the upper lower is that it's a lot easier to auto-regulate an upper lower, in my opinion, or what I've found anecdotally, because you only have to really, to hit everything twice a week, you only have to train 4 times a week. So if you're really feeling crap one day of the week, then you can just miss that and pick it up for the next day. So in comparison, to sufficiently hit muscle groups with a push-pull legs, you need to probably train 6 days per week. However, it won't take as long because you can get more volume in on those days. But again, if you don't have much time to train and you definitely can't train 6 days a week, then that is problematic and maybe an upper lower is better for you. However, if you want to do a push-pull legs because you do like that metabolite accumulation and that focus on certain muscle groups, because you just train like back and biceps, that's pretty much your pull day, then you can maybe train 4 or 5 days a week, and then the next week you just pick up from where you left off. So there's that auto-regulation there within the mesocycle overall. So we're going to touch on exercise selection now, and from what I've found with my own experiences in programming for clients, is that an upper lower definitely allows for a more focused exercise selection. If you don't want to spend too long in the gym, and you only have about an hour, even 90 minutes, you don't want to be doing too much fluff stuff. So that means that you really just have to go like, I'm going to say upper body days, you do like 2 pushes, 2 pulls, and then some arms at the end, maybe some rear delts. So because it's so focused and so stringent, this might limit the potential exercises that you can put within the program. Otherwise you're spending not too long in the gym, maybe too long for you if you don't have enough time on your hands. So a push-pull legs definitely allows for a broader exercise selection choice, but a lot of exercises that a lot of people want to do when they first start out training, they really don't, like, not that you don't need to do, but you probably, okay, you really don't need to do. A lot of people spend way too long training muscles that are probably going to grow regardless of, you know, if you hit them or not. That being said, there are a lot of studies where it's like, well, people's arms grew regardless and they were newly trained, but all they did was lat pull down. But telling you from experience that if you want to have good arms and you train arms, your arms will be better than people who don't train arms. But that's not to say some exercises will be redundant for certain training populations, as mentioned previously. Beginners should really focus on foundational lifts and then maybe put some, I like to call it fluff stuff, or just fillers or hypertrophy stuff in that they enjoy, can do long term, and are part of their goals. So again, if said beginner wants great arms, then perhaps hitting arms a lot and doing arm exercises is a really good idea. So let's talk about frequency again, just quickly. Upper lowers tend to allow for the certain lift to be performed more often within the week, assuming that variables are administered appropriately. So that means that you're probably not going to deadlift every lower day, just because deadlifts have a very long SRA curve, and if you deadlift, it takes a really long time to recover from a deadlift, especially if you're trained and you deadlift very heavy. So whilst there's an increase in frequency of the performed lift, whatever lift that you want to do, and the upper lower allows you to perform those lifts more often. However, with a push-pull leg, you're gonna get more metabolite accumulation on those days and more focus on that one muscle group because you're performing the same movement, similar movement patterns throughout the session. So there is I wouldn't say significant amount of evidence, but there is a good amount of evidence suggesting that beginners do not need to accumulate large amounts of metabolic byproducts in order to see hypertrophy. But they probably will see hypertrophy regardless of whether or not they have that metabolite accumulation because the mechanical tension stimulus is so new. However, that's not to say that if a beginner wants to go in and get a pump and loves to train like that, then that's fine. It's not like that's not functional and makes that lifter stupid, because that seems to be the contention of everyone. Oh, the pump is there, mate. The pump, ask Arnie what he thinks about the pump.
It's as satisfying to me as coming is, you know, as having sex with a woman and coming. So can you believe how much I am in heaven? I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym, I'm getting the feeling of coming at home, I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up, when I pose out in front of 5,000 people, I get the same feeling. So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific, right? So, you know, I'm in heaven.
So again, more focus on metabolite accumulation with the push-pull legs, because let's say you do a push day, you're going to do a bunch of horizontal and vertical pushes plus some triceps. You're going to be jacked after that session, full and it's swole, and you're going to get some, you might get some hypertrophy, or you could potentiate hypertrophy through those metabolic stress and muscle damage pathways. So now that we've compared and contrasted some factors, both lifestyle and based on the scientific principles of strength training about what to do, upper, lower, or push-pull legs, let's talk about a pragmatic application and conclusion of whether or not you should do an upper, lower, or push-pull legs. So you ready for this one? You can do whichever one you like, provided that volume is equated over the course of the mesocycle, let's say. So if you're getting the same volume and you're doing an upper, lower, or push-pull legs, and you had two twins and they both did the exact same volume, pretty much the same stuff, one did upper, lower, one did push-pull legs, results would be so similar, it would be ridiculous. I reckon there would be a non-statistical significant difference between the two groups of twins, which you will never be able to do in a study. So, do the one you like, the one you can stick to long term. At the end of the day, it's all about adherence, because adherence predicts success, and if you can really stick to something for a very, very long time and continue to do it, good chance you're going to make all the progress in the world. If you always just go, which one should I be doing? Which one's better? Which one's worse? I'm going to try this for like 3 weeks, and I'm going to try that for 3 weeks, and you always program high, good chance you'll make no gains. So pick something you can do for a very, very long time, stick to it, minimum of 3 weeks, and then undulate, periodize from there, provided you're not a beginner. Because if you're a beginner, you just do something and stick to it for a very, very long time. Alrighty guys, hope you enjoyed that video. I waffle a lot, but that's me. I am one big waffle. I'll speak to you next time I do a video. Thanks very much.